And we are live. What's going on, everybody? I am Adam. This is Saturday Space Nights Live, sort of special event. My guest today actually reached out to me and was like, hey, I got my Cosmic Legions. I want to do an unboxing. He hasn't done a video with me before. I've asked him a few times, but he wouldn't commit to it. But this is weird because he actually reached out to me and said, hey, can we do an episode? And I said, absolutely, buddy. So tonight, my very, very special guest, forgive us if we have any technical difficulties, but here he is, Facebook user Jay. What's going on, buddy?
How's it going?
You're pretty hyped on Cosmic, eh?
I'm pretty excited. It's the new thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ordered them 2 years ago. Yeah, it took about 2 years to get them, so I'm kind of riding that train. I went in on the second one all in, which was a smaller batch, and the third I kind of I got back to work and just life is moving along again. So I was off for a year and a bit on some medical stuff. So I needed toys and social media as a distraction. So.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think for a lot of people, that's probably the case, right? Like, it's just a matter of...
For sure. I mean, and the COVID thing was happening with people at the time as well. So I was interacting with a lot of people. Like, people were home. I was in the same boat, but under different reasons. So
yeah. Everybody else was off work too. You're like, well, this is convenient.
Yeah. Thought it was special, but not really. I can't see you.
You can't see me?
No. I don't know.
That could be in your settings. I don't know. You could see me before, right? Before we went live. You could see me just fine.
Let me just try something and hopefully everything's cool.
While you do that, I'll jump into the comments and see what's going on with everybody. Jeff Morris jumped in early and said, going to be traveling tomorrow when you have this live stream, so catch it on the replay. Well, Jeff, I hope you're enjoying it on the replay. Facebook user, which obviously can't be you because you're here. Yeah. I don't know who that is, but happy to have you here. Star is here. Star said, that's not Cosmarium. I kind of blew it. I should have tried to find, a background to use. This is the one that I always use for the Saturday Nights Live. But in this case, it doesn't quite fit. But anyway, hopefully you'll forgive me. Miko Darkblade says, happy space night. Star again says, CL rocks. Cosmic Legions rocks. Left Coast Graphics, what's going on? How many points of articulation does the new J have? Fewer than average. I know that much. Star says, hey, Jay. Facebook user says, epic beard.
Thanks. It's real.
It's not just for show, eh?
Yeah.
Star says Cosmic Legions figures are awesome.
Yeah, I know she's been a big proponent of the rollout. So
Kelly made a rookie mistake and forgot to confirm my name. Kelly, I think, was Facebook user for a moment there.
It happens to the best of us.
What are you going to open tonight, Jay?
Well, let me get the spun here. One moment.
Or it could be a few moments, but that's okay. Take your time.
There we go.
It's worth the wait. There we go. Wow, you've mastered this now.
Yeah.
You're like a seasoned veteran at this point.
Yeah. I'll just get the angle here. I'm just balancing them on a glass. I'm using my cell phone, so we tried a computer, but the screen, the lighting wasn't great. So
dang technology.
We're gonna open Vorga.
Okay. Yeah.
I guess I could pick up my phone and you can pause it if you want to read the. I'm not reading it.
That's when I do all my unboxings. That's what I do too.
Right?
If you want to waste 3 minutes of your life, feel free to pause this video and read it. But
right. So the package is really nice. Let's start with that. Nice
very
link
different packaging than we're used to with Mythic Legions for sure.
It is very different. Yeah. I started hucking a lot of the Mythic Legions packaging. Like I'll throw the inserts out, but I'll keep the bubble and the card back.
Yeah.
And then I can store figures in it. Like I don't need the insert. And I keep the cards and they're just randomly dispersed. So give me a second here. I'll
Yeah, absolutely. Left Coast Graphics. Jay just started growing that beard Tuesday.
Yeah.
Star says, I've already got the shakes anticipating the launch panel for Cosmic Legions 3 on Friday. It's Cosmic Legions 4, is it not? I think it's 4, wave 4.
It would be 4,
because we had the 2 waves of the prison ones, and then we had the last wave. Or no, we had the grave. I can't remember what the waves are called, but there's this wave. Then there's another wave with sort of similar characters, and then there was the Zaxius. Wow. I can't keep up. But I'm pretty sure Friday will be the 4th wave.
There's Star
asks, how do you feel about the boxes versus the plastic blister? Do you like?
How do I feel about it?
Yeah.
It would they would sit on shelves a lot nicer. That's for sure.
Yeah. True.
Like on a bookshelf or whatever. Sorry, falling a little bit. I'm sure this backpack comes off. How's the lighting? Is it okay?
It's good. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. Nice tattoo there.
So she's like a 1.0 female figure, right?
I believe she's a 1.0 female figure. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, a little thicker. I like the 1.0s a lot more than the 2.0s myself. Kind of when I got into it, they were just kind of rolling out the 1 or 2.0s. And I didn't know there was a difference when I started buying these. But I just find they're a little flimsier. But you know, they're needed for different body styles and stuff too,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I understand the slender builds. Can you see these little clear inserts? Yeah, so they plug into ports on the body to hold the weapons. I am not pulling them out. I'll lose them.
Star says fourth wave, but the last was an outpost wave, not really numbered. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, it was sort of a small wave with yeah.
Right. And I'm anticipating this wave's going to be pretty massive.
Yeah, I think this will be like the 3rd major wave for them for sure. I get the differentiation that Star's making there for sure.
Right.
Facebook user, who I have no idea who that is now, since Kelly's updated his name and you're here, says, is that the smallest Mythic Legions? I don't. It's a Cosmic Legions figure, and it's not the smallest for sure. Left Coast Graphics says those clamshells were not really collector friendly, resealable. Is the green space monster dude out yet? No. The green space monster dude, I think, is available at PowerCon though, so it'll be available for anybody attending next weekend.
Are you talking Flog?
Oh, maybe. Are you talking Slog left coast graphics? The big kind of troll looking dude, because he is out, and I
He is
think we may
out, and
catch a glimpse of him
you're gonna
tonight.
see him tonight.
Yeah.
Left Post Graphics is my buddy Rick.
Yeah.
I think you guys have been introduced.
Yeah, I've watched a couple of his videos too. So
yeah.
Star says, can't wait to see what Eric's gonna do with some of his more out there ideas for aliens. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too. I'll admit, and I've said this before, nothing's really quite grabbed me yet with Mythic Legion or with Cosmic Legions. There's figures here and there. When Jay asked to do this video, I was like, you know what? I don't want to feel too left out, so I actually did go ahead and pick up just one Cosmic Legion figure so far, which I will probably open once he kind of gets into the second one here. But yeah, there's not that many characters that really grab me. I just grabbed this one because I didn't want to be sort of stuck paying aftermarket prices if I do jump in like wave 4 or 5 or whatever. I think the figures look great. I'm very, very curious to see what this next wave looks like. I'm kind of hoping that I don't like it. I'm kind of hoping that it doesn't sort of pull me in and I don't go down that rabbit hole, but we'll see.
Right.
Star says Slog is out now. Yeah, Slog is available and awesome. From everybody that I know that has it, they sort of all agree that it's pretty cool figure. He said, "Yeah, the green cosmic dude looks rad." Yes, indeed.
So that's her alternate head. I'll just jump right in with that.
Yeah.
She comes with like a chain type gun.
That thing's pretty gnarly. Like that's a pretty hefty accessory.
Cool. It plugs into the bottom of the backpack.
Mm-hmm.
So it's chain fed from her backpack.
Mm-hmm.
Star, what's her race? Star would probably know that. I know she's big on cosmics.
Star says, I was thrilled to see great looking space characters that aren't connected to an established franchise. Yes, I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, there's a weird sort of catch 22 for me with that, is that like, I love Star Wars. I wore the t-shirt because I don't have a cosmic t-shirt. I love Star Wars, and I sort of love that sci-fi kind of vibe. But there wasn't any characters that grabbed me. There wasn't anything that I needed. In the first wave, there was one figure that I wanted. In the second wave, I think there's one figure that I want. In the third wave, there's like 2 figures that I want.
Tell me you want the grays.
The grays look really, really good. I mean, that's got to be the best version of like that very kind of stereotypical alien, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
And the soft goods that come on the one from that last wave look phenomenal. And I'm looking at it like, well, I could just get it for the soft goods and almost be justified. If you get the retail price. We'll see. We'll see.
So I got that plugged into the backpack now.
That's cool. I mean, it's not enough for me to buy that figure, right. But I mean, that's a really great accessory.
I took her backpack off. I was trying to get her shoulder pauldrons in.
Yep.
But I'd have to take a hairdryer to it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, they're pretty stiff. Which is better than the alternative, right?
Yep, 100%. When you get the ones and they plug in right away and you're like, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
And then they're just constantly falling out. Yeah.
Yeah, I was having a problem with the Sphexian putting his wings on.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't plugged in far enough, and it was getting frustrating. And I didn't bother. I did put the ones he's got extra appendages that go on his body, and aesthetically, I don't like them.
Oh, okay.
Like
That just because it's too much, like it's too busy.
it takes away when he has his mandibles on his head and everything. Just takes away from the whole thing. I find
Fair
it's a
enough.
little too much, right?
Yeah.
And it's just I'm just getting into them, so like I don't have any real bias or anything. I'm just So they all have the standard articulation. I don't think I really have to go over it, do I?
No, I mean anybody that's got a mythic figure is probably got a pretty good idea of what a cosmic figure is going to be.
Yeah, there's
I think they've used some of the sort of engineering that they're sort of starting to roll out with the mythic stuff is to get them a little bit better range, like in the shoulders and stuff like that. But
yeah,
still a very, very simple articulation scheme. So
it is.
Kelly said,
Yeah.
I got Thygar and his space armor on the way from Spaceman Mike. Should be here Monday. That's a great looking figure too.
Which one,
But
Thygar?
Thygar, yeah, the space armor one.
Oh yeah, I got the whole wave. So thanks to Mike at eCollectibles, by the way. We'll throw Mike a bone there. Mike hooked
Yeah,
us up with that.
yeah, I mean, shout out to Mike. That's I keep going back and forth with him. Like, do I need one of these? Should I get? And I mean, of course, he's going to say yes because it's in his best interest for me to get them. But
Right.
Star says, I'm hoping this story is as epic as the figs. Hope we get something substantial soon. I mean, we were talking about this just before we went on, right? We keep getting nuggets of lore with Cosmic in a way that we don't really with Mythic. With Mythic, we get the bios, and that's about it. With Cosmic, we're actually getting write-ups of the characters don't just have a little bio; they have a full write-up, and there's sort of story and as I said, I'm not super steeped in the lore, so I'm not even gonna try to kind of unpack it all. But there's the prison, there's the outpost, there's a crashed ship, like there's all this stuff, and it feels to me like there's more lore already in Cosmic than there is in Mythic. After years and years and years of them sort of doing just bios for Mythic Legions.
Right. Yeah, it's I think it's just more developed. There's more people on the team now. And Jeremy in particular, like I think he's interested in writing some books and stuff. So I'm sure he's coming up with a lot of the lore.
I think that's a big part of it. Yeah, I absolutely think that Jeremy Gerard is probably the driving force behind the lore. And I think it works. It's a bit like for me as somebody that's sort of a casual observer, it feels a little too dense.
Yeah.
Where you kind of have to, or at least for me, it feels like I have to know everything sort of leading up to each time they release something new. And if you're a fan of it, really dense lore is great. But from a casual observer's perspective, it's a little hard to access if you haven't been paying attention the whole time.
Right. I mean, I like the figures the way they come from the studio, but I don't necessarily make them follow any lore or anything. Like some character. I mean, I'm not going to rename characters. Like I said, I like the way they come from the factory, but I like starting like it took me about a day to start messing, like just putting the tiger head on, right? I saw some shots today and they already have like army builds of these with you know, cat heads and all kinds of different things. And I'm like, yeah, I dig that.
I've seen a bunch of people put the AWOC heads on them too, and that was I was happy to see that. So,
Right. Yeah, I mean,
Star said hoping to see a dark Greyborn who's figured out a way to weaponize the maze and assassinate individuals from systems away. Yeah, I mean that's as the story just keeps getting denser and denser. I think we'll probably see stuff like that, right? Where there's just more political intrigue and sort of the politics of it, because I definitely think, you know, Mythic has that, you know, that quality within sort of fantasy where like everything seems a little more disconnected and everything's a little more vague, whereas Cosmic feels, despite the fact that, you know, Mythic is contained within a continent and Cosmic is a, you know, a galaxy, Cosmic feels more contained. It feels like the parameters are a little bit more.
Isn't it all in prison right now?
No. The first wave is. The second wave isn't.
Oh, okay. I see.
And then that Outpost Zaxius one is in a like a space station, basically.
Right. You're gonna be buying all these, Adam. I swear to God. I'm just kidding. If you don't, if you don't dig them, you don't dig them. That's just it's a whole new branch. Like people.
Yeah, I mean that's I want to. It's just some of them just don't do anything for me, and then it's just down to space and money. Like I don't want to get into the line just to get into the line if it's not doing anything for me. Like I said, they could come out with a wave that absolutely blows me away, and then I'll be in. But
yeah, it's interesting. I like sci-fi, so like I look at some of these characters and I see like Eddie from Iron Maiden or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's
Star makes a good point too. That it seems like Mythic Legions would have to adhere more to the typical fantasy tropes, and that limits them to a degree. Yes, and I think they've said as much as well. Like I think Four Horsemen have said that, like, you know, there's certain races, there's certain kind of character types, you know, there's certain things that they have to do within that fantasy realm that, you know, there's not rules. I mean, it's fantasy, right? But there are tropes and there are sort of things that people expect, I think, from fantasy stuff.
right.
Whereas Cosmic, you know, it's, you know, whatever their imagination can kind of conjure up.
So I'm just showing his alternate head here. It comes with a.
That looks pretty amazing. I love, you know, masked, you know, shielded heads. That, and it looks really, really good. I can't even remember who it was, but I saw a great picture of that.
Right. And then he has the domed one that goes on this.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a minute and I'll try and get it on here.
Yeah, sure. I'll read a couple more comments.
Sure.
Star says, I don't get any sense of population with Mythic Legions. Cosmic Legions feels like it has more of a sense of consequence for action that feels like greater potential for depth of story. Yes, that's exactly, you know, what I'm saying, but you're saying it a lot better than I am. There feels like there's more. Like, I think that the way they're telling the story makes the characters have more weight, which is good. I mean, I think, you know, if I got into the story, I'd probably end up buying more of the figures. Brick and I are going to be talking about that for Animal Warriors of the Kingdom tomorrow, about whether the figures or the lore kind of pull you in more, and it's an interesting conversation. But yeah, I mean, at the moment, you know, neither the figures nor the lore really pulled me in with Cosmic. And I'll be honest, the lore didn't really pull me in with Mythic either. It was purely the figures. So, Miko, good point. Yes, let me do that. There we go. There you go, Miko. Now you can see the figures better. Nobody wants to see me anyway.
Yeah. Sorry. Hey, Adam. Thank you for keeping talking, because I just don't talk that often. So
No, it's all good, man. I'll anytime you go silent, I'll jump into the comments.
yeah, perfect. I'm just here's a bunch of the accessories. He's got his little like iPad screen and some rifles. Comes with a lot of guns for a prisoner. I don't know. He's planning a big jailbreak, right?
Well, I guess they can't come with nothing, right? Like that's
right.
the
Like this is it's similar to the gun that the girl has, but different attachment on the front. I don't know if that comes off or not.
I mean, if you
and
it
this,
up and yank it off, it probably would, but
yeah, this plugs in to where her chain gun, so maybe it is the same sculpt.
But I bet it's the majority of it probably is. Yeah.
Let me grab the other one instead of just trying to guess here. Yeah, they're the same.
They are the same. It's the same weapon. Yeah.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's just that front piece that's different.
Yeah, it's probably just a port, I'm assuming.
Yeah. I think in the Outpost Axius wave, there's Asphyxian with that as well, but I think it's also like a third version of it, if I'm not mistaken.
He comes with an extra neck peg too. They're a little off from the Mythic Legions. Like
they're not interchangeable.
Yeah, I think they would be interchangeable. But
okay.
It offsets the head and do a different position. It's like the
dwarf.
Oh,
I see. Yeah.
Like the dwarf head peg as opposed to the humans, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, very similar. Yeah, I like this helmet a lot, actually.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite of sort of the three setups that you can have.
Yeah.
But that dome looks pretty good too.
It does, yeah. It'd be hard to photograph.
It feels really big though too.
Yeah.
It feels like is it Futurama where they have all the heads in the domes?
Yeah.
That's what those domes kind of feel like to me.
The man-eaters on The Simpsons.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Kelly says, "Get me hyped for my Tiger."
Oh, you don't have it yet?
No, I guess he just ordered it, so it's on its way.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of got just inundated. I got the boxes in, and here's a Mars Attacks. They got pretty big domes too. That's an old Mezco.
I would love to see a figure like that, not a Mars Attacks figure, but I would love to see the kind of brain in a bubble type of alien.
Yeah, I think Vaughn's one of the customizers. I think I'm pretty sure I've seen one that's similar to this.
You know what? I think I have two, and I can't remember where it was, but
it might
be
Von Burt, but I can't remember.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would love to have these heads on them. That'd be amazing, especially on those grays.
Yeah.
That really slender, tall bodies, right?
The Star says, I need a good narrative with the figures I buy. Otherwise, it's just a toy and doesn't really carry a lot of weight for me. I don't care for buying a robot truck. Buying Optimus Prime is awesome. Yes. I'm the same way. I mean, I definitely prefer more story. And I think that's I haven't quite gotten into the lore with Cosmic just yet. There hasn't been an event in the lore that's grabbed me. The exception to that rule for me is Mythic Legions, because I'm kind of buying them to sort of fill a fantasy void, right? They're Lord of the Rings mixed with Dungeons and Dragons mixed with a little bit of everything, fantasy that I've ever seen in my whole life. So
World of Woodcraft, or what's it called? Warcraft.
Warcraft, yeah, yeah, the orcs and stuff like that.
For sure.
I keep watching that Warcraft movie, and it's not a great movie, but visually it's pretty good.
Yeah, no, I agree. I have some of the figures. I McFoddered them.
Mm-hmm.
Just rip them apart. I believe these hands have vertical and horizontal.
I love that they're doing that, because if you're giving them, pistols and rifles, you
Yeah,
need that hinge. Um, and you got the head pack or the hand pack and everything, so you've got even extras on top of what's in the packaging. But
yeah, those are insane. Like, I don't know if I'll ever even crack into them because, like, everything comes with, you know,
a
like,
dozen hands.
yeah, like a few of them I've opened so far. They have at least like 6, 8 hands.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
four to five pairs anyway. It's crazy. Here,
So have you?
I'm gonna get into slog here.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, before you do,
Yeah.
have you opened the whole way?
No, I haven't. I have a Spexian right here. I'll throw that on screen while I'm opening slog. I really like this one. I love the wings, especially.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure a lot of people are going to be using those for fairies and.
Funny you should say that. I want to hunt down a couple sets of those wings to put on elves.
Yeah, like, let me get some light behind them. I'm just using my other phone here, like,
because they're translucent, right? But
they are.
they're painted, so you get different kind of shades and things through them.
Yeah, and I haven't cracked open the blue Spexian yet, but I
Yeah.
think his are a different color. I'm pretty sure.
Yep. Yep. Satyam Sitahal, I've probably pronounced that wrong, so please forgive me. But he asks, which is your sleeper figure from the wave? That's why I asked if you'd opened all of them so far. But...
Oh, yeah, I haven't opened. I've opened five, four, five of them. So I think that leaves 6 that I haven't opened yet. But like,
Jeez, that's a lot of figures.
what's that?
That's a lot of figures.
It is a lot, yeah, for sure. And like, I got the key. There's a key that comes with if you bought the
Yep.
entire wave.
And the skull too, right?
And the skull, yeah. And I think the skull for retail was a different color than the one from the.
It was, yeah, it was. So you got a gold one. You got a gold one with the wave, and then a silver one as a retail option.
Right. And the key, you can wear it like, I'm gonna put it on a dog chain.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because it has a hole to wear it. I'm sure a lot of people will be wearing them to cons and stuff. I'm assuming.
How cool would it be? Now, I just had this thought just now, but how cool would
Yeah.
it be if for like Legion's Con or something like that, there was some sort of display that you needed the key to open up? That would be. I just thought that would be cool.
Well, with the they designed the Masters of the Universe Classics, and they included a key with Scareglow, and it actually opens a door in the Castle Grayskull. Like, they had
Oh
planned
wow!
that. They had planned that 8 years in advance of the castle being made.
Right.
So I wouldn't be surprised. Like, there's a
There's bound to be
design and
something,
stuff on
hey?
it. There might be a chip. Like, I have no idea, dude. That I wouldn't be surprised if if it does something like that, or they could make it do something like that. You know what I mean?
So let's modify the question, since you haven't opened all of them. Which one that you have opened so far was like better than you expected?
Thygar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I there's two of there's the one where he's in the gladiator, like I opened this one first,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't have the other one to compare it to right open yet,
Mm-hmm.
but I really love the sculpt, just the face, the colors. It's such a it's like Deathstroke's colors, you know,
Oh yeah, yeah.
the
The
orange and the
navy and the
blue.
orange. It's a.
Like
I mean, that's a. I talk all the time about how I really dislike black and red as a deco choice because
yeah,
it's so easy and it's so obvious.
yeah,
I will say that with the cosmic stuff, the colors are pretty phenomenal. Like that guy in particular, like that blue, navy blue and orange is a great combination. It's a simple one. It's as simple as black and red. Uh, but it's I find it to be far more interesting.
mm-hmm. I don't know. It works. Like it's aesthetically pleasing. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and I took one picture of it, and I don't like my pictures, but I like the picture I took of it. So that's Slog's alternate head.
That's a great looking head. I mean, the
Yeah,
details on Slog too, like the fact that they made the front of his glass kind of frosted to make it look like he's there's condensation from his breath. Like the details are what really are. The details were always good from the Four Horsemen, but the details that they're putting out, both in Mythic and in Cosmic right now, are phenomenal. It's pretty bonkers.
yeah. I got the Monkey King in
Mm-hmm.
this shipment too from Mike.
So did
And,
I.
yeah, and I just can't like it. It's just it's like a level up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It started with the Varga 2-pack, like for sculpt, the details they can do on like the pauldrons and shields and stuff. Now
Yeah.
it feels like it's a level up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Alberto asks, what would I like to see made, released in Cosmic, either character, race, or theme? Uh, I don't know. That's the thing, is that I don't like. There isn't. I'm not holding out for them to make like a particular thing. Um, I'm kind of. I think I'm kind of odd as a collector in that. I do. I never want something to come out. I hope that what comes out is something that interests me. And if it does, I buy it. And if it doesn't, I don't buy it. But I'm not one of these collectors that's like, okay, I have a checklist, and if they don't do it, I'll be upset. I just wait for the stuff to come out, and then I buy it if it's cool. That being said, like, what are some things that might sort of entice me? Um, I don't know. I just like cool designs, cool characters. Slog enticed me, but I just I'm not gonna buy him as like my first Cosmic Legions because he's just too big and expensive. Um, out of wave one, the one figure that I did buy, and I'll open it now because it's here and why not? I got Zirian because the soft goods are awesome. I think Zirian can kind of fit in with Black Series stuff as well. So worst case scenario, if I never get another Cosmic Legion, I think she'll do fine, on that shelf. Where some of them would be a little bit too big or whatever. But as far as characters, I don't know. I mean, the characters look great. The races that they've used have been great. Theme wise, I don't know. I mean, I like space soldiers. You know, I like. I would like to see. You know, I'd like to see some of the themes that they haven't used in like fantasy, but sort of put into a cosmic setting. I'd love to see like a space samurai. You know, somebody that uses blades as opposed to guns would be an interesting twist to me. Um, because I would assume that they would be sort of energy weapons of some sort. I'm not saying I want lightsabers. I'm just saying like you could make. Um, wait, what's that from?
That's from Buzz Lightyear.
Oh, I was gonna say so that's in it there already. I totally missed it.
See those
But
those
something like that, yeah.
those figures that are going on clearance.
Yes.
Um, yeah, I just want to show you. So I believe
It
there's a
ports
right.
in, right?
It
Mm-hmm.
it actually fits in the port,
Mm-hmm.
so you can keep a blade on the gauntlet or. Uh, and I picked up these figures in anticipation for this wave to do little customs and stuff
Mm-hmm.
because there's so many extra parts.
Yes.
Yeah, like they're gonna go far. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
everyone was talking about what fodder you're building up for Cosmic Legions. That's, I mean, everyone's got their McFarlane stuff that they use for their Mythic Legions.
Mm-hmm.
People were talking about like what to buy to customize Cosmic Legions, and you know, there's Halo, there's Star Wars, there's like I know there's a difference between Star Wars and Cosmic Legions, but you
Mm-hmm.
can gank parts. Like the big purple dude that's on the Rebel team would completely fit with these guys.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Zeb. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there'll be parts and figures that will blend. Like I do want to make like a cantina type scene
Mm-hmm.
to have these figures in.
I think that might
Uh,
be my problem as far as like not being able to get into this is like my and I've said this to people in chats, like Star Wars will always be my kind of basis for sci-fi.
yeah,
And so I will always be kind of comparing things to like a Star Wars cantina, right? Like where you're talking about, you know, all the different you know creatures and species and things like that.
right.
I do like that they did the gray because I think that's like a that's it's such a classic look, but
Yeah,
it's like criminally underused in context outside of like you know this guy showed up on Earth. Like you
it's
don't
like
see
it's
them.
like the Harvester with their other wave with
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
like
You
everyone can
need
relate
it.
to the Grim Reaper, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna pull people in just for one figure, and as
Mm-hmm.
you know, once you get one in hand, that's where the problem starts.
And that's what I'm worried with this.
I'm just comparing because a lot of people ask like that's a troll with slog for
And I
size,
thought
right?
initially I thought Slog was like troll sized, and I was like, that is a crazy amount of plastic. But then it wasn't until they got released that I actually realized that it was considerably smaller. I mean, he's
He's
like
denser,
ogre. He's like ogre height, not troll height. So
right? He's dense.
yeah, well, that's what they said. They kept looking at places to kind of remove plastic, and there
Yeah,
just wasn't any because there's so much
no,
detail that they just couldn't remove any plastic. So it's like a solid hunk of plastic.
it is. It's such a great figure. Like I opened it uh initially just before like an hour ago
Mm-hmm.
just to get the straps off the package and stuff, so I didn't really mess with it.
Mm-hmm.
But now that I'm starting to like, it has, I mean, pretty basic articulation,
Yeah.
uh, but it's a presence, that's for sure.
Yeah. I mean,
And
I would expect it to have pretty limited articulation, just design wise. It's a very, very complicated figure.
Yeah.
And it would, it would probably hurt the sculpt to have, articulation where it doesn't necessarily need to be. So
Right. And I think people have like, I don't know how much they're going to reuse this sculpt.
yeah.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
pretty bold of them to do something like this right out of the gate. But uh, with so many people now that are collecting them,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was a great design. I think they had these ready years ago too, right?
Yeah. Alberto says, I think we all thought he was troll size.
Yeah. I think
I'm
they
kind of glad
addressed
he's
it when
not,
they did the
though. I mean, I
rollout.
think if he was troll size, he'd be like too big
Yeah.
for like as a character. You know what I mean? He'd be too like overpowered to really kind of work within the world that they're building.
He looks like
DJ
he could.
5000 says, I have two cosmic. I'm not feeling them like yet, like mythic. Fair enough. I'm right there with you, DJ 5000. And when Jay reached out and said, I want to do this, do some of these figures and talk about cosmic, I was like, perfect, because I don't have them, so I wasn't going to be talking about them otherwise.
Yeah, well, that's why I reached out because I knew you weren't invested in the line,
Mm-hmm.
but I do like your reviews, and I thought it'd be the right place to do it.
Absolutely, man.
It was
I'm
a
happy
Night
to
of the
do it.
North kind of decision,
Exactly.
right?
Uh, Star says, how many waves went by before Mythic Legion really blew up? I think Advent of Decay is where it really probably blew up, but even in the last few years, it's blown up pretty big. Like I think Pandemic saw the number go up as well, but I think Advent of Decay, when they released the 2.0 bodies and they kind of expanded, the parts catalog. I think that's where it really, I would say that's where it really took off.
For me, it was the when they did Trap Jaw. That's what I
Okay, yeah,
really.
yeah.
That's
Mm-hmm.
or whatever his name is. Um, that one really interests me, being a fan of Trap Jaw.
Chrono.
Chrono, yeah, and I missed out on. In fact, I'm kicking myself to this day because Walter had offered me an Adaman head, and I passed on it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'll just whip something up, and I kind
Yeah.
of passed on it. And then I'm like, as I got more of the figures, I'm like, oh, I'd really like to. Anyway, I don't have the Adaman head. I'm hoping that's one of the repaints they eventually do. Like I always
Oh, I think
say,
they would. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
they could do a battle armor version of him and
Yeah.
Skeletor, and they'd be different, and it wouldn't affect the value. And I'm sure some people would still complain about it, but
Yeah.
uh, there's a lot of new fans too, right?
Miko says Adam would want Cosmic to release Elf Space Rangers of Xylona, but they'd have to be green. Okay, two things about that. No, I don't want that because that would be a little too on the nose for me. And also, I wouldn't want them to be green. I don't like the Whisperling elves. My elves are all human skin toned. But anyway, I've got Xerion out of the box, but I just want to talk about the packaging a little bit more because what's cool is they like everything's printed on the box. It's not an insert, so you're not getting quite as generic a package. So like Xerion is printed on the outside of the box, but they also have included, and I think this is really really cool for people that can't build or afford giant dios or anything like that. They're all including card back or not card back, but like inserts that you can set up and sort of have your figures posed on, which I think is genius. Because I mean, if you're gonna put an insert in there anyway, why not make it appropriate for the figure for display? Does that fit?
What's that?
Does that fit?
I could make it fit.
That'd be an
Just
interesting look.
yeah. I've had it on the ice troll head.
Yeah.
Just the color needs to be recolored.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking Slug may have been the sleeper for me, man. This is a really cool. I like it. I didn't mess with it before the show.
Yeah.
And okay, we do have some swivel there. Yeah, it's a presence. Like I said, if you're gonna get into a fight, drop Slog into a shirt and you can smash somebody with them. So if it came down to that, Slog would be your best bet on the Cosmic Legions as an actual weapon.
I think they said it's like 3 pounds or something like that.
It's substantial.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know which head I like more. I just want to start putting this on fruit, like on lettuce and stuff.
Just leave it in the fridge for somebody to find it.
Exactly.
The way they've put the accessories in here too, like on the side of the, like that's the front, and the weapons are kind of in the inside.
Yeah,
is really cool, but also slightly annoying.
Yeah, I didn't realize they had tabs. I was just trying to rip them out.
I'm just trying to yank this stuff out and it's not coming out, and I'm just like, what's going on here? And then I figured
that's kind of why I prepped them a little bit before I got on. I just didn't want to put everyone through the AMSR.
Yeah, smart move.
Segment, you know.
Here I am trying to figure it out on the fly.
Yeah.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda, right?
Am I doing a terrible review here or what?
No. I mean, I don't think
touching it. I'm not showing any articulation or reading any of their bios. Like,
no, we're just here to talk about it, man. It's like
I don't know if I'm gonna follow the lore.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't know that I'm gonna get too far into the line if I don't follow the lore, which is maybe for the best. Like one of the things, and I know that some people actually like it, and other people kind of don't, but like the ports.
Yeah.
So like the little ports, there's ports in Zirian's wrist, there's ports on her belt. I'm probably missing one or two as well. They look really clumsy to me. Like I wish there was I wish there was, maybe it's especially because she's small. Like I think on the bigger figures, maybe it won't be as it won't look quite as clumsy.
Yeah.
But for her, like it's like the size of her hand. It's like a big hole in her wrist. Now that being said, like the accessories, so I'll just sort of get this. Give me a couple seconds. So she comes with this really cool accessory. It's like this hologram of a planet or of something. I mean, I'm sure somebody Star probably knows what this is actually.
Oh yeah,
meant to be.
Thygar has that as well.
But you can like plug that in. Here, hold on. Let me. Now that I'm actually doing something worth seeing, and I'm tiny, you can actually like plug that in, and it looks really, really cool. But then you take it out, and you've got, like I said, just a big hole in the wrist, which I'm sure somebody will come up with a solution for that, as far as like putting a peg in there, or something that just sort of covers it up, which I would be perfectly fine with. Just covering it up will be enough for me, because it doesn't, like, the figure looks great. And this, I was talking about how great all the colors are. This one's pretty muted, but it's a great looking figure. The head sculpt on this is fantastic. What you don't see when you just look at the pictures, the hair is incredible on this. Did you open Zirian?
I haven't yet. No.
Like the back of her hair is sculpted in a way that like you see, not all the hair obviously, but it's like they've sculpted all the hair in like it's where it's cut. So you don't just have like a
Okay.
straight flat sort of end to the hair.
Right.
It's kind of unbelievable that they would even bother. It's even
Yeah.
crazier that it translates, that it transfers to the actual sculpts like on the figure. Like they would have sculpted that, but then the chance of that looking this good sort of on the physical figure is pretty wild.
Adam, I'm just going to be 30 seconds here.
Yes, sir. I am quickly going to talk about a couple of these accessories. So Zirian comes with a spare head with her hair tied back as opposed to sort of the loose hair. Like I said, both are fantastic. I'm definitely going to be using one of these heads in Mythic. And then along with that, we get this sort of gas mask or sort of, yeah, I assume it's some sort of air breathing apparatus. They are in space, so that would presumably come in very handy. Spare hands, and these are in fact the vertical hinge hands. We get two of the pistols. Now the pistols, interestingly enough, we talked about the ports. The pistols are asymmetrical, so there is a ported side and an unported side. So you can actually plug these onto the wrist with those little pegs. And then you get the very, very nice, quite substantially sized sniper type rifle. It's big. It's big. I mean, it's as tall as the figure itself. And it's got, details like a little buckle on here on both ends. And then it's got a little clip, like a clasp. And I think it is a functioning clasp, which is pretty wild at this scale. That's cool. That accessory is cool.
Yeah, it looks like Slog has his own like health monitor.
You know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of and I've forgotten his name. Baron Harkonnen.
Right. Yeah, I was starting to like the Mad Max villain in a way too.
Oh, a little bit. Yep. A little
Yeah.
bit for sure. The expression a little bit.
Yeah. And just his like I don't think he goes to the gym very often.
Yeah, I don't know that his fitness is great, which is probably why he needs that monitor.
But who knows? He might be in peak physical condition for his race.
Yeah, I was going to say, for his species, it is entirely possible that he is the fittest among them.
Right.
Kelly says, how are her ankles about Zirian? I don't know. I mean, it's hard to know. I mean, now they seem fine, but will they hold her up? I don't know. Stay tuned for me ranting about her not being able to stand up later. But Star mentions that if you remove the blue chest piece on the science officer, the articulation improves.
Oh, yeah? I have the science officer right here.
So that blue piece,
Yeah.
I think it just pops out because I think it's like a plugged in piece for a couple of those different Tusk figures. Left Coast Graphics asked, "Did Jay go to get lettuce?"
I'd use the lavatory.
Is that where you keep your lettuce?
Yeah.
Alberto's in Mortan Harkonnen. There you go. Yeah, he has that kind of just that slovenliness, that sort of grotesqueness to him.
Yeah. Like it probably doesn't smell very nice under that suit.
Right? He probably has nasty breath too. Let's be honest. He probably his diet is probably not very good. So he's probably
I bet he smokes cigars too. I can see him with a cigar.
I bet he smokes like cheap, crappy ones though.
Yeah.
Or like the space equivalent of that.
Right. These pop out.
Oh, his little chest canister things.
For whatever reason. That'd be
That like that's where that's it. Like his like boob sweat. So they have to
yeah, that's
empty.
where they drain it.
They got to drain it out.
Yeah.
Hey Jay, that's the 3 figures you wanted to unbox. You want to keep chatting about Cosmic a little bit, or?
Sure. I just well, that was 3, but I've slowly crept in a couple more even.
Yeah.
Just the Spexian, just because I have it open. I don't have all his accessories or anything here, but I really like these guys too. I gotta say, like I really didn't like the Geonosians in Star Wars, and
Okay. Yeah.
people will like say these were sort of they don't resemble them, but I already like these more than I like Geonosians.
I would agree. I mean, the Geonosians seemed a little more frail and fragile.
Yeah, but I
The
do like
Spexians feel pretty hardy.
I do like the insect type alien.
Mm-hmm.
The mandibles are. I mean, it looks good. I don't know. It's a cool figure. It's a cool
Do the
race.
mandibles move? Are they articulated at all?
I not really. They just plug in.
Okay.
These plug into the head.
Mm-hmm.
And then they do have little arms that plug into the chest. So you could set up like them feeding their mandibles with their little hands, or have the little hands holding little blasters or something. But like I said, with that part on the chest here, I just found there was too much going on.
Right. Yeah.
And I didn't
I
really
think
like
I
it.
just sort of seeing it now, like just
Yeah.
seeing it how you've got it set up. I
Mm-hmm.
think it looks better like that. Like I think I agree that it kind of looks a little too busy
Yeah.
with all the stuff going on.
I mean,
So I'm kind of
and
digging it like that.
people will generally like. I'm sure as people will be buying several of them, and having one with the extra hands, I think would differentiate it a little bit from the others.
Sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But for me, I don't think I'll use. I won't use them in that spot. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Just preference wise. Yeah, I'm really happy. I mean, I've opened 5 now, and I'm really happy with all 5. So overall, I'm digging. I'm glad that I backed this.
I'm just sort of messing around with Zirian, and it's I mean it's a nice figure for sure. It's
Yeah.
and this little kind of poncho cape thing is pretty cool too. Fully wired. That was sort of part of the draw, admittedly, for me of grabbing this figure, is that I kind of just wanted this poncho.
Right. No,
um,
the like I could see people will be buying the Sphexians for the wings, I'm sure.
yeah, just to pull bug parts off and sort of plug them into. I could see people doing like a dwarf sized, mythic Spexian.
Yeah.
With some shorter legs and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. I'll be messing around with parts for sure once I get them all open.
Yeah.
I've thrown a couple of different heads on, and they look good. I'll just show you one, just simple.
And to answer Left Coast's Graphics. So Left Coast Graphics says lots of new parts. Awesome if they all fit Legions for customs. I think they do. I think that was sort of always the intention, was to have the parts be interchangeable, so that you can kind of use your mythic as fodder if you need to. And alternatively, with the cosmic stuff, like you said, with the wings, the wings could now go on to some mythic figures. Any shared parts with White Robot Dude? I think the specs. He's asking about the Spexian. Is the Spexian shared parts with the
with this
Tusk?
guy?
Yeah, that's the Tusk science
This is
officer,
a
I think.
science officer. Yeah, sorry, I don't
Yeah.
have the package out. It was actually the first one I opened. I was It was between this and the gray one, and I just decided to open this one. Yeah, I think. Well, let me look. The I think the chests are the same. This
Mm-hmm.
this back part pulls off. I think you could take it off both of them.
Yeah.
He's definitely got a different butt, so because he has his
His tail thing.
his insect bum,
Yeah.
uh, whatever they call that. I'm gonna have
I
to learn. I'm gonna have to learn
should.
my.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Oh,
I should know, but I can't. I can't remember what it is. Star
yeah.
says the specs. Star says I like the Spexians hunched over. Need to grind away some of the back of the head socket so as to get the head to jut forward. Makes a better stalking pose. That would work. I think that would look really really cool to get it into sort of like more of a bug like
I think they
look.
have a different hip. The Spexian's hips look wider than the yeah they are. So they
Like the
have a
hips are wider set.
yeah they have a different crotch area
Mm-hmm. Okay,
than,
that makes
than
sense to fit that piece on the back.
yeah. So I'm just noticing that the boots or the feet on the Spexian are the same as on him. So
Mm-hmm.
they've already they got away with reusing a lot of parts
But
immediately in the first wave, which is it makes sense.
the interesting thing, though, is I think the Tusk science officer versus the Tusk uh,
The
sentry,
great yeah,
I think they have different legs.
it's
So they,
possible. Yeah,
so like, there's some things that are shared, and then there's other things that are like strangely, the two Tusk figures you'd think could have the same legs, but they opted to have them be slightly different.
this is a Dexter face shield. Dexter.
There's a Dexter action figure.
Yeah, I have Dexter. He actually has like a soft goods gray overalls too.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it only has like I think head and the neck and arm articulation.
Mm-hmm.
He comes with a saw and this and a gray suit as well. Yeah, it's a pretty cool figure actually. It's actually worth quite a bit. You don't see them very often.
I didn't even know it existed. But then
But
again, it's sort of like there's an action figure for everything just about these days. So.
I thought it was a good headpiece for a science officer.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
You know that some of the science is pretty questionable.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Again, here's a Mars Attacks for scale. I love these figures. I'm trying to complete the collection. I think I only need one more to be honest. They're old Mezco.
Oh yeah, okay.
But like stuff like that, I've definitely been searching it out in anticipation for the cosmics.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, if anyone actually follows me, they know I do like silly pictures, and I like to incorporate. It's like I have a bunch of these guys that you'll be seeing, right?
Yeah, some of your crossover stuff is pretty unique.
I think it's fun, right? It sets it apart from other people's work. So, but here's the heads for those Buzz Lightyear figures. Is that showing up well?
Yep. Yeah, that's when they have their helmets on or whatever, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So I'll probably like hollow those out or make the pegs, because those would look sick on these as well.
Yeah, they would. Yeah.
Multiple eyes and stuff. Like
Mm-hmm.
so that's always part of my game, is just like trying to buy stuff that I can use for that genre or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I found this.
Left Coast Graphics asks, could a Black Series Gammo beat up Bug Dude?
Black Series Gammo?
Good morning.
I don't know. I've got two of them right here, Rick. That's funny you should say that, because I was going to do a picture of them with Slog as Jabba. So that's a Black Series Gammo for scale.
And that's that's a pretty decently large Black Series figure.
It is, yeah. It's my actual favorite Black Series figure. I have two
I've
of them.
heard that. I've heard a bunch of people say that.
Yeah. I know, it's just I have the 4-inch super articulated ones as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I have like about a dozen of the vintage ones. It's kind of my dude. He's my Star Wars dude. And it does cross over. Like, you can easily make these guys put them in with orcs or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
dang. I need one of those.
Yeah, they're at Toys R Us here right now.
Here too.
Yeah, I've passed on them because I do have two. I would like to have them just to slap up on a wall though, but $50 for a wall slapper.
Yeah, that's why I haven't pulled the trigger on that thing either. It's like, but it does look good. I didn't know they had articulated jaws either, but
oh yeah, they do. I've had them like eating and drinking and playing video games, and like it's just cool that they have a little expression, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Soft goods. Yeah. Honestly, yeah, I've always said it's my favorite Black Series figure.
Well, the one that's out now is just a re-release, correct? Of that.
Yeah, I think it's it's a little. I think it's a little more green.
Okay, so it's just a little tweak.
Yeah, there's not much difference.
Mm-hmm.
And they come with 2 axes and a pike too.
Why not?
Yeah. So that's the scale there, Rick, of
for some reason I thought the Spexians were smaller, so it's good to get them sort of in relation to something else. Like it's a big figure. Like there's a lot of figure there.
Yeah.
For some reason I thought they were more like goblin or dwarf kind of sized. I didn't realize they're like a full size. They're the same size as that Tusk figure. So
yeah, I was actually surprised they were as big as they were too. And it comes with like so many different hands, and yeah, it's a good figure. You said the blue one you think has a different waist, or the Sentry has
the Tusk Sentry has different legs.
Really?
Yeah. Or at least the lower part of the leg. I don't know about the upper. I haven't had one in hand, but just looking at the pictures, I was like, really kind of, I would take, I had split screens when I was looking at it, and I was like putting one up full screen on one screen and the other full screen on another, just to compare, just to like look at all the different parts,
Yeah.
just to see. Because I mean, with the first Kickstarter for Mythic Legions, there wasn't a lot of parts, and that was. I didn't get into Mythic Legions at that time, but I was aware of them when they did their first Kickstarter.
Yeah.
And I looked through the options of like what you could get in Kickstarter rewards or whatever, and I was like, there's only like 3 figures here. They're just different colors. There's a ton of variety in this first wave of cosmic stuff.
For sure.
There's more variety in this wave one than in a lot of their waves of Mythic Legions. Like still to this day, it feels like almost.
Yeah. That's why I tried to open ones just to give it a bit of variety. Like Slog is just Slog's that one off, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm sure they could make more of his race, and customizers are going to be having a heyday making heads to
Well, I would
slap on that
imagine.
body.
My guess is that it could be like parts reuse, but not like that figure reuse. Like I think I remember them saying like in the process when they were sort of developing the figures, that Slog was like a crazy amount of parts.
Yeah.
That end up kind of glued together. So I wonder if there's, in the same way that with Mythic Legions, right? They're doing that chest bit that like comes off. So
Yeah.
the torso is the same. They don't have to re-engineer the torso.
Right.
So it just expedites, the next design. I wonder if Slog has kind of got that kind of forward, forward capability or sort of forward thinking,
I could see them
future
making a
proofing.
sled or something for him,
Mm-hmm.
and having like stuff plug into his. Like maybe that's a thought they have too, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Those
Absolutely.
pop out,
That's
like
it. That's a good call. Like a
having a
version
life
2 or
support
something.
kind of.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's already got compromised. He's got this monitor, so
Yeah.
who knows, right? It'd be simple enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's neat. I'm thinking right now it's my favorite that I've cracked open. I think I'm really gonna like the other Thygar as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's just something about I like the design of this figure.
Yeah.
Great, great head sculpt. Like, I like the texture. Like, yeah, it's something different for sure, right?
Yeah, and I think that's what's nice about Cosmic Legions is that it feels refreshing. Like it doesn't really feel like, as much as I've said that I kind of compare it to Star Wars or whatever. This does feel, and I think Star kind of mentioned it too, that like this feels like a world
Builder
that is like fresh and new, and that has a lot of possibility, as
yeah.
far as storytelling, as far as figures, as far as all of that is concerned. I'm I haven't sort of jumped in yet, but like I said, I'm very curious. I'm fascinated by what they could do with this line.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to more for sure. I
Well,
know that you got wave 2 like fully ordered.
I do. Yeah.
Should we do this again when you get your wave 2 figures?
Sure. Or if you want to do another, like I still have 5 or 6 figures. That's completely up to you, man.
Yeah. We'll definitely do
But
something
I'll
else.
definitely do it for the second wave whenever they show up. I don't know if it'll be this year. I doubt it.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, I don't think it'll be that soon.
no, I don't either. But who knows? things can get surprising around Christmas, right?
Yeah, very true. Star says, I hope that 4-H brings some sexual dimorphism to some of the alien species where the male and female versions have some substantial differences other than just size or build. That would be very interesting. I'd like to see that too.
A she slog.
Yeah.
Maybe
But
maybe
it'd be
these
like
are,
completely different.
yeah, true. They could make breasts to plug into these.
They could, yeah.
And she slog could feed milk, like Luke drinking. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm going all nerdy now.
The blue milk from the whatever that creature's called. Yeah, for sure.
Right. I'd like a female troll, to be honest. In
Yeah.
Mythic Regions, female troll would be awesome. But you're
Well,
saying like
an ogre too.
yeah. Well, is there not a female ogre yet?
I don't think so. There's only like 5 or 6 ogres. There's the half giant. I think technically there's only 2 ogres, and then there's Archimedes, and then there's the half giant, and then the 2 new armored
Right.
ogre
Okay.
scaled figures.
Yeah, I'm getting the race confused. When you said Archimedes, it all clicked in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they could do that. Um, I definitely would like a female troll for sure. I've got all 4 trolls now, so I'm rich on trolls.
Alberto says a queen mother type of Sphexian creature.
Yeah.
So just like a bigger, nastier, like the alien queen,
Yeah, for sure. That would be awesome, actually.
That would be.
Is it the
That's a good call.
is it the Sphexians they're doing that are the miners in the
Yeah.
3rd wave?
Yep.
I didn't even really pay attention to that wave. I just got back to work, and uh I just I didn't need the distractions anymore, but I remember I'm pretty sure that's what I thought it was for those miners. So I may have to look at those now that I've got Spexian. I really like it.
Star says, I always pictured a female Squilak as looking more like a hut from Star Wars. Males have legs, whereas females don't and are more like big slugs.
Is that what he
Sure.
is?
I mean, that's, yeah. And also, like, make more worker Sphexians in a smaller scale for sure. I would love that. I guess maybe that's what I want from the line. I want to wait for there to be a little more scale, but
Different scales?
they're already doing 1.0, 2.0 slog, whatever scale slog is. He's a one off, but then they're doing the green kind of dragon guy
Right.
who is ogre scale.
Mm-hmm.
So they're already covering most of the scales. They just haven't gone down quite as small as the goblins or the dwarves yet,
No, brute
as far as I
yet.
know.
Or brute.
Or brute. But maybe the brute scale's in there and we just don't even realize. Because we didn't realize what scale Slog was going to be until he showed up.
Right. I think they addressed it. I really do think they. But I mean,
Did
it
they
was.
mention no brute scale yet for Cosmic?
I don't even think brute scale was released when these came, or because these were at the
Yeah, because these got
2021
delayed. Yeah, you're
PowerCon.
right. You're right. Because
Yeah, so there
the
was no
first
brute
brute scale
scale.
is Apharius. The Centaur is the first brute
Right.
scale torso.
Yeah.
But they just came out, and Cosmic was supposed to come out before they were. So
Right.
yeah, you're probably right. I mean, but I mean, since the parts are interchangeable,
Yeah.
It's got to be a hurry up and wait type of thing where we're bound to get him. So
Okay, his waist. That's interesting. So he does have articulation in the waist too. So that probably pops out. He's probably on a ball there. I'm not going to do that right now because I don't want to mess this up. But yeah, they could add like different legs lengths, different arm, like I don't know.
right, you could. Well, I
Interesting.
mean, he has those legs. The that kind of angle back or whatever. You could do more of a straight style leg.
Yeah.
Star says a duoderm. They've got the tails where the tetraderms like Kragnar have no tails but 4 arms. I mean,
Star, thank you for all these words.
yeah, I know what half of them mean. I'll be perfectly honest. Some
Yeah.
of them I'm just reading and hoping that I get the word right so that I sound
Yeah.
like I know what it's about.
Yeah. That's
Alberto
awesome.
says the albino Spexian miner from Zaxios outpost, I think, has some limited articulation mandibles. That would be interesting if they could sort of add some of that to later stuff and get a little bit more in terms of the articulation for stuff like that. That'd be cool. Star says, I love the Abelex. They just look like they're naturally built to bring the pain. The Abelex is Kragnar, correct? Star? I don't, like I said, I'm
I think yeah, I think that's what it is.
yeah.
I've got them all here. I just none of them are open. So
Mm-hmm.
again, that's the one with the forearms.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll be using the other 2 arms on it. I
No,
don't
just
know.
keep it.
I mean, I'll see what it looks like,
Mm-hmm.
but just my gut feeling, I'm not I probably won't go that route.
We're wrong. Abelex are Thygar. So
Oh,
the one that you
yes.
already love.
I do love that.
Yeah.
Abalek. Thanks, Start. Yes. I can't wait to open the other one too. And I don't know what heads it comes with.
Mm-hmm.
Might even have a different design. I haven't even checked it out. So um but
Does
I like sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say with Thygar there, does it like work like a 1.0 figure? Like is that little skirt bit kind of just plugged in like it typically is on?
Yeah. Yeah, I just pulled it off.
Okay.
So it's just got the same, so that would work. And then he's got the fabric pants like the headless horseman and
Yep.
couple of the newer legions. Um, so that's cool.
Left Coast Graphics, NECA Gremlin head would go well on these.
Which one? Any?
You pick. I mean, I think I agree with that. I think that would be
Yeah.
good. Yo, that head looks good.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Like just that shield, man. I just the sculpting, the design to get a shield over an actual face. And they're swappable. Like there's a bunch of different ones like that. Oh man.
Yeah, I think the second wave, the accessory pack, has some different colored, and
Yep.
I'm pretty sure that's what they are.
That's yeah. I mean I'm looking at Sligor, that sort of Tusk builder pack.
Yeah.
That's the next one. Like if I pick up a second Cosmic Legions figure, it'll probably be that one.
Which one? Sorry.
Sligor. So he's like the Tusk. He's like a Tusk soldier, but it comes in that pack where you get like all the different bits and pieces, where it's like the Barbarian Builder pack, but for Cosmic.
Okay, is that from the third wave or the second?
I don't even know.
Yeah, I'm kind of lost.
I
know
don't,
that
I don't know if it's
I
the
know that the
second or
one that
third. I'm not sure. I
the
lose track because because I haven't bought it. Like it literally wasn't until you said, "Hey, let's do a video. I want to open some," that I ordered one. Like I've been hanging back, holding off. And this is the only one that I ordered, so
well that
it'll be sort of going back to sort of see. Star says second, so
okay. Yeah, so I definitely have that one coming, and the third one I'm gonna have to get a hold of Mike on if I want.
mm-hmm.
But there was a couple I wasn't even too keen on in the third one. Like I do want the other gray,
Yeah,
but I want a gray from the second wave before I order one, just
sure.
to see if it's gonna like be gummy or you know what I mean. Just I'm a little worried about the how skinny and tall it is.
You mean for stability and like posability? You mean?
Yeah, like I don't want it taking shelf dives and shit
Yeah,
or
yeah,
stuff,
yeah. No, I
like
agree.
that.
I agree. But
Right?
I think they said with those
Yeah,
that it's basically a 1.0 with longer limbs.
a 1.0 with longer limbs. Okay, I thought it
Yeah,
was a 2.0.
so it looks like it would be like 2.0 kind of, but I
Right.
think they've said it's 1.0 with longer limbs to kind of look more like a 2.0. So he's going to be a
Okay.
tall figure. So again, back to scale, right? That's a
Yeah,
figure that's going to have a different
the
shelf
new
presence
scale.
than a typical figure because he's going to be taller because of the limbs.
Yeah, and I think that that one's gonna draw people in just because it's your classic alien look, right?
Yeah,
Like
yes, I agree. I agree completely. I think
just if you,
once people start taking pictures of that and people start seeing it sort of in toy photography, I think that'll be a big push for people to pick one of those up.
for sure.
Because
Like
people, I mean, all the pictures that we've seen so far have been four horsemen pictures. They've been of Cosmic Legion's, backgrounds and interactions with other, Cosmic Legion stuff. Once you pull that out of Cosmic Legions and pose it next to, your X-Files action figures or whatever,
yeah,
then people are like, oh, I need that. What line is that from?
how'd you know I have X Files figures?
I just assumed.
Yeah, I do.
I know
They,
you well enough to know that you would definitely have them.
they film it in my neighborhood, so I'm just showing off. Like this is the hero hand pack.
Mm-hmm.
Like
That's a lot of hands.
that's a lot of hands.
And considering they already come with extra hands, like you're
Yeah,
getting, yeah,
and this is what's gonna happen with the skeleton hands as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
Like I'm gonna have to buy more packaging just to put my cosmic stuff in now. Like
Yes.
like look at this.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Tusk
Yeah,
hand
so
pack.
there's three Tusk figures. There's the sentry, the science officer, and the engineer, and you get all the spare hands for all three of those figures in there.
Right. And then you probably get half,
Bonkers.
and then here's the Havalkatar weapons pack. So you get the sniper rifle, just standard the Sphexian gun,
Mm-hmm.
the
Little wrist guns.
yeah, the two wrist guns, another spear.
Yeah.
I do like does the sniper rifle have a strap that comes with her?
Yes. Yep.
Oh, it does. Okay. I haven't opened it yet, so
And it's cool, man. Like it's a legit little nylon strap with little buckles that are, I mean, they're probably plastic. It's hard to tell when they're so small. But
yeah,
there's a little clip where you can actually unclip it.
right. I mean, I'm glad I got these, but who knows if I'll ever dip into them. You know what I mean? This could be potential like 10-year trade fodder.
Well, exactly. I got this, and then I got the key because I was like, oh, that key might come in handy.
Oh, you got the key?
Taylor just joined us and said, stayed up to watch Jake Paul fight Nate Diaz. It's now 6 a.m. I don't know where you are that it's 6 a.m.
I've had it on the whole time.
I know you have. I think
Yeah.
6 a.m. is probably UK. Taylor's 11 beers down, and this is thoroughly more enjoyable than the trash I just watched. And probably much, much less expensive since it's free.
I'm a real human.
Oh, there he is.
Hey. So
Jay,
did we do enough?
People asked early. We'll kind of finish. We'll do a couple quick questions and then we'll finish it up. What would you like to see from Cosmic Legions? Is there like a race or a character or a creature or something that you would like to see?
Yeah, I have a tendency to like big furry dudes.
Yeah.
Like a space Sasquatch.
Yeah.
Like I'd like to see like, yeah, almost like their Wookiee. What's their Wookiee look like, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. When you say that, I'm right there with you.
Yeah,
Because we've seen kind of bug type and kind of,
yeah, they have
I would say
reptilians
kind of
coming
lizard
out.
type with some of the kind of scaled.
Yeah, that's coming in the next wave. There's a dude that looks like everyone was calling him Bosk.
Mm-hmm.
So the reptiles are coming. So yeah, definitely some big fur dudes would be cool.
I would probably bite on one of those. I think that's my thing. I think elves are great for fantasy, but once you start getting furries, once they're sort of something
Critters.
something close to a critter.
Yeah.
I would like to see something small. I would like to see something in like a goblin scale. I would like to see space Thistledown.
Right. Yeah, I'd like to see space gonks. I said that to them when they were talking about cosmics, and that actually got a laugh from the horsemen.
I just watched an episode of Rebels where a gonk was like a spy, and I was like, that's so genius because they're everywhere and nobody cared about them until people started being like, yeah, but what about the gonks,
Yeah, so they'll be robots too, right? I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. I'm really curious to see what their take on robots is, like whether they go the route that like Star Wars has, where like droids are kind of, they're based on function. It's kind of the form.
That's pretty much a droid head already.
Yeah, I got that feeling too with some of them. Like some of that Tusk stuff, I was like, I don't really care if there's like something conscious in there. These could be drones.
Yeah.
That's creature like, but I want a little more furry than that.
Yeah, that would be my for sure. Like I'm thinking like the first Hulk, Zandu or whatever. The white Hulk. The white furry Hulk guy.
Oh, Zemnu?
Zemnu or whatever. Like something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like sort of a take on that would be awesome.
So still kind of alien, but furry. Yeah, for sure.
Right. And then they could use those parts to make a Sasquatch figure obscura. And then they could make a Yeti, right? So they could reuse the sculpt. I mean, it all makes sense. If they made that body, they could get a lot of reuse out of it.
Taylor asked, do you have a go-to place for movie posters? I don't really buy movie posters, so I don't have anything.
I have one movie poster. It's Harry and the Hendersons.
Of course it is.
It is. Yeah. And that's literally the only movie poster I own. I do buy
Uh,
prints. I've got a couple of the artists that does tools art.
mhm.
I can't think of his name, but um, I've got a couple of prints from him, and those I just find them random. Um, yeah, I don't know about movie prints. I'm almost 50 years old. I'm not buying that stuff.
Star says, I'd like to see robots like the Transformers, just without the transforming stuff. I would like to see. I would genuinely like to see if they could do something that's a little uh like unexpected, and I don't know what that would look like, and I don't know how that would work for sculpting and stuff like that. But fish aliens could be fun.
Fish alien. I like just uh like blue skinned humans pretty much too, like the figure you showed. Like
Yep.
she could pass like Thrawn, like that
Yeah.
style. Or orange skin like a Power Lords almost. Like they could do
Sure.
stuff like that. That would be rad.
Kelly Chase said, "How was Toy Traders? Are you going to check out Cherry Bomb Toy Fair in September?" I don't know if he's talking to me or to you. I was at Toy Traders last weekend and it was a bust. The last few times I've gone have not been great.
Yeah,
And Cherry Bomb's Toy Fair, I don't think so. I'm still hoping to go to Legion's Con. It's just, cost wise, I just can't get that many trips in.
right. Well, Cherry Bomb, they always attend the Vancouver Toy Show too. So if you
Mm-hmm.
ever come down for that, you can meet Rick and I, and we'll go together. Because Rick and I go pretty much every show.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to do that spring one, but it didn't work out timing wise.
Yeah, there's one in October, about a week
Mm-hmm.
before Halloween. So
Star, I want alien bureaucrats and Secret Service, alien police, maybe some alien spies or secret agents. That I could get into that. Like if the lore starts getting into that kind of stuff, I would be very curious to see what some of that would look like. But I mean I feel like that's kind of what we got here, right? Like I feel like she's kind of a spy, so
yeah,
I
Slog's
just
sort of like a judge. He's a warden, but
yeah. You kind of get the feeling that like within the prison there's probably more politics than because the prison is effectively floating in space, right? So it's its own kind of ecosystem. I don't think there's probably a ton of people checking on them. I don't think checks and balances are necessarily one of the priorities of that particular prison system.
right. Hey, I just thought of something when you were talking about like goblin scale. It'd be if they did little green men, like
Oh, sure. Yeah.
almost like a goblin. So just if they did little green men with like different expressions, and that'd be rad.
Yeah.
I'd be
I'd be
totally on
yeah,
board
I'd
with
be
that.
I'd be down for that for sure. Because
If they're
again,
doing it
they could you could absolutely sort of insert those into other lines as well, right?
right,
Just the
if they're
same
doing
way that you
tall
have the
grays,
Toy
they
Story
should
guys.
do little green men too,
Hmm.
right? So that would be my next. Sorry, just to go back to that question. I just thought
No.
about the goblin scale, and I'm like, you know, it'd be cool just to have little green aliens.
Hmm. And you could, and it would be like I would love it too if they did them uh like they've done some of the army builders where they're like basic and they come with a very small amount of accessories, but maybe like alternate heads, and then a head pack that's just
Just
like
put
6 different heads for those guys, and you
heads
could
like
just buy
this.
like tons of those figures.
Rad.
Jeremy did say that they may dip into cyberpunk. I think they kind of already are, right? Like there's already kind of um, bionic limbs and things like that that we've seen, and I think the armor does, like we were saying with the tusk. figures there that like some of them almost feel as though they're non-organic already. So, or inorganic, non-organic, inorganic, I think. Is Valkatar confirmed to be on a planet or asteroid? I don't know. I
Star.
got the impression. When Star asks, I like I don't know. I
Oh,
thought it
that was
was
her
like
question.
yeah. I thought it was like another space station. I didn't think it was on a planet or like I thought it was kind of its own thing, like not like a ship, but like more of a space station.
Yeah.
AI cyborgs, yeah, I'd be into that.
We're gonna have to get someone officially on that to answer all those questions.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. I don't know why. I just assumed that it was like a space station. Like the prison itself was like a, but they do talk about the different levels and then the different. So yeah, I mean, it makes more sense that it would be on a celestial body of some sort rather than. But you could have levels in a space station.
I have a feeling that this guy's gonna come up in a lot of my photos.
Yeah.
I really do. He's like something I just want to keep in my pocket, but my pocket isn't that big.
Now, when you just turned the bubble, is the bubble connected to the thing underneath? So, like, his face moves with the bubble.
Yeah, the neck port, this spins.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't fully. It goes like a little bit each way.
But it goes enough that you'd get the okay.
Yeah.
That's clever because that means that the mist goes with the face.
Right. Yeah, I can get him turning pretty. At least. Oh no, he can fully spin his head. So maybe it does.
Like an owl.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a lot of fun. It's like a football and an action figure together. It's like the trolls, right?
Yeah.
Like I like taking them for photo days. Although they're so big.
Yeah. Star says, I thought, referring to Volcatar, the prison, I thought it was a place where the Union had put out some public misinfo about it being a hospital of some kind where they only cared for disabled people, tax exempt, of course. That might be the case, and that's what I was saying about like how I think it might be kind of a lawless place, despite being a prison.
Well, isn't it a prison that has like gladiator fights and stuff too?
Yeah, exactly.
So
there's some stuff going on there that most prisons probably frown upon.
Yeah, they probably like the better you fight, the better privileges you get. Probably get a lighter sentence. You know, you can work your sentence off.
Yeah. Or you're told that you can.
Right.
And then you fight, and then they're like, oh, by the way, no.
Do you think any of the cosmic legions wear underwear in space?
No, I don't think there is any underwear in space. Isn't that?
I don't think there is.
Taylor, we'll finish up with this because this is kind of wraps up our cosmic, and this is not related at all, but it was a fun question. So Taylor says, at work we have a whole toy army squadron set up where where anyone is welcome to strategically move a tank or infantry one piece per day. I'd like to switch it up for something more ridiculous. Any ideas?
For toys?
Yeah, so
I don't know, like take it and replace it with something else. Put something there that is sort of similar in size and appearance. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I couldn't. It's a great question, and I'd have to sort of go through everything that I have and try to figure out what would be fun, sort of in that situation.
Every time I've had action figures at work, my coworkers like mess with them and put them in sexual positions and stuff like that. Which is,
I've heard that from a lot of people. Yeah,
I would too if it was their figures and they had them, but that's usually what happens.
We'll finish with this question because we're creeping up on 2 hours, which is twice as long as we had planned to go. But how do you guys see the circles of Cosmarium? I see them as spiral arms of a galaxy.
Like Saturn, like rings?
Well, I actually saw them more like, and again, just because this is the reference point that I have, I saw them more like in Star Wars, where there's like the core worlds and then like the outer rim and then the unknown region. Like I saw it more as like a concentric thing, where like there's probably a planet or a few planets that are sort of the core worlds. And then I kind of put Havalkatar pretty far out, which is why they kind of get away with some of the stuff, which is why Slog is sort of
the outer rim.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of thinking, is that it's like that it's set up that way, where it's but we don't know. I mean, that's the other thing, we don't know quite how big the scale is. We don't know. Well, I don't know. I shouldn't say we don't. I, in my ignorance, don't know the answers to these questions. I don't know, how space travel works. Like, I don't know if it's like, light speed or hyperspace or, wormhole.
Can you do the Kessel run in under 12 parsecs?
I don't know. That's what I mean. Yeah. What's their Kessel run? Like, how far do they go? We just don't know. I'm very, very curious to find out. And we'll definitely have to do this again, because I'm if nothing else, I'm intrigued by what this world may become, what this lore may become. It's been fun, Jay, and I definitely hope that we can do this again.
For sure. And they're next weekend, they're revealing a whole bunch. So
yeah, on Friday.
Yeah. And apparently it's going to be a live thing too. You can stream it or something.
Yeah.
So, and I have a feeling it's going to be a wave, probably at least the size of this first wave.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
I think it's a one for sure. They've done 2 small ones now. Mm-hmm. And they've talked about this being like, just there's been hints, you know. I just have a feeling it's going to be like, there'll be like name characters and like army builders.
Yeah. Just expand the lore, expand the world. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll have to do something else. In the meantime, I will just give another shout out to Mike at eCollectibles.ca. Most of book 1, Havalkatar book 1, is still available. So go pick up a couple more figures, or your first figure. If you don't have anything yet, they're going to be fun. I mean, I think looking forward, we're going to have some really, really fun characters. Maybe as soon as Friday, but like I said, get some stuff now so you're not paying the late fees later on. It's been an absolute pleasure. Jay, again, thank you for joining me. Everybody that watched in the comments, hanging out live, anybody watching replay, thank you. We do this because it's fun. We hope that you enjoy it as well. Until next time, bye-bye.